Do you know that mathematics, the foundation of every technology, every building, every economy in the modern world, was invented in Africa? Do you know that the Greek scholars Europe credits with creating mathematics were actually students who learned it from Africans? If you don't, subscribe to AfriUntold right now, because this changes everything you thought you knew about human intelligence. The Ishango bone is a baboon fibula found in the Democratic Republic of Congo, dated to approximately 20,000 years ago. Carved into it are a series of notches arranged in mathematical patterns that show prime numbers, multiplication, and a base 10 counting system. It is the oldest mathematical object ever discovered on Earth. It was found in Africa. This is not a theory. This is archaeology. Ancient Egypt built structures that required mathematical knowledge so advanced that modern engineers still study them. The pyramids at Giza are aligned to true north with an accuracy that modern construction with all its technology struggles to match. The calculations required for their construction, volume, load distribution, precise angles, required sophisticated mathematics. Egypt was doing this 4,500 years ago. The Rhind Mathematical Papyrus, an ancient Egyptian document dated to around 1550 BC, contains solutions to 84 mathematical problems, including algebra, geometry, and arithmetic. It includes calculations of the area of a circle using a value for pi accurate to within 1% of the modern value. Egypt solved pi 3,500 years ago. Europe is taught to credit Greece with discovering it. The Greek scholars that Europe celebrates as the fathers of mathematics, Thales, Pythagoras, Plato, all traveled to Egypt to study. This is documented in their own writings. Pythagoras spent 22 years studying in Egypt before returning to Greece with the mathematical knowledge that would make him famous. The theorem that bears his name was known to Egyptian mathematicians 1,000 years before he was born. Pythagoras did not discover his famous theorem. Egyptian builders used it for 1,000 years before he studied it. The relationship between the sides of a right triangle, what every school child today learns as Pythagoras' theorem, appears in Egyptian mathematical papyri dating back to 2000 BC. Pythagoras learned it in Egypt, came back to Greece, and history named it after him. African mathematical knowledge extended far beyond basic arithmetic. Ancient Egyptian astronomers calculated the movements of celestial bodies with such precision that their calendar, 365 days with a leap year correction, is essentially the calendar the world still uses today. They predicted eclipses, they tracked planetary movements, they built structures aligned to specific stars with precision that requires sophisticated mathematical calculation. The deliberate erasure of African mathematical origins from history education began in the colonial era. The narrative that Africa had no intellectual tradition, that Africans had contributed nothing to human knowledge, was essential for justifying colonial rule. If African civilization had invented mathematics, the entire argument for European superiority collapsed. So the Egyptian origins of Greek mathematics were quietly removed from textbooks. Modern mathematicians and historians of science have been increasingly vocal about restoring African credit for mathematical discovery. The evidence is overwhelming and has been available for decades. The resistance to acknowledging it is not academic, it is political. Admitting Africa invented mathematics means admitting that the intellectual foundation of Western civilization was built on African knowledge. The implications extend beyond history. Every child in Africa who struggles with mathematics, who has been taught that this discipline belongs to European civilization, deserves to know that their ancestors invented it. Mathematics is not foreign knowledge imposed on Africa. It is African knowledge that was taken from Africa and taught back to the world without attribution. When African children understand that mathematics began with people who look like them, that the Ishango bone in Congo predates Greek mathematics by 15,000 years, something changes in how they relate to the subject. Heritage is not just pride, it is motivation. It is the understanding that intelligence has always been African. The Ishango bone, the Rhind Papyrus, the pyramids, the calendar. Mathematics was African before it was anything else. Europe learned it from Africa, renamed it, and taught it back to the world as European achievement. Do you know stories like this? Subscribe to AfriUntold for more forgotten African stories every week. These stories deserve to be told.